able to see my screen. Okay, see my screen. Okay, fine. Let's start. गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो सरस्वती नमस्तेस्तु वीणा पुस्तकधारिणी हंसवाहनमारूढे विद्यादानं कुरुष्व मे. So we are doing the Karmani Lakaras. So Punaravartanam. So what did we see in the last class? So we will do the Punaravartanam again and again so that we remember when we convert, what Vibhakti conversion takes place, all that we should remember. So we will be studying this again and again. So Kartari Prayoga, we have the Karta, the Kartripadam Prathama Vibhakto Bhavati, Karma Padam Dvitiya Vibhakto Bhavati, Kriya Padam Kartaram Anusarati. So the Vachana Sambandha of the Kriya Pada is along with the Karta in a Kartari Prayoga. And Kriya Padam can be a Parasmai Pada Kriya Rupa, or it can be an Atmane Pada Kriya Rupam. Okay. So Karmani Prayoga. So in a Karmani Prayoga, the Kartri Padam is always in Tritiya Vibhakti. Okay. So the Kriya Pada will not express the Karta. So Karta is always by the Karta. So the action is done by, right? So Kartri Padam Tritiya Vibhakto Bhavati. Karma Padam. So the Karma Pada will be in Prathama Vibhakti. So Shlokaha Patyate, Pataha Patyate. So this Patyate Kriya Padam is expressing the Karma. So the Karma is in Prathama Vibhakti. Kriya Padam Karma Anusarati. Kriya Padam Atmane Padini Eva Bhavati. Okay, so whatever be the Dhatu, irrespective of whether it is an Atmane Padi Dhatu or a Parasmai Padi Dhatu, we will have the Kriya Pada Rupa in Karmani only in Atmane Padam. Atmane Pada Pratyayas will only be added. Again, Vachana Sambandha is along with the Karma Padam. Okay, so here it is the Karma Pada for the Vachana Sambandha. Okay. Then when you do the Prayoga Parivartana, the Kartri Padam in Prathama Vibhakti should be changed to Tritiya Vibhakti in the Karmani Prayoga. So from Kartari to Karmani, when we do the Prayoga Parivartana, we have to change the Kartri Padam to Tritiya. Again, the Vachana is also important. So 1.1 will be 3.1, 1.2 to 3.2, and 1.3 to 3.3. Karma Pada from Dvitiya Vibhakti to Prathama Vibhakti. So 2.1 to 1.1, 2.2 to 1.2, and 2.3 to 1.3. Kriya Pada should be in Atmane Padi form only. Okay, so na Karmani Prayoga, Dhatu plus Ya plus the Atmane Padi Pratyayas. This is how we arrive at the Karmani Kriya Pada. So the Pradhanyam is for Karta in Kartari Prayoga and Karma in Karmani Prayoga. So these two sentences in the last class, we did few sentences, if you remember, when we where we stopped. So I think I had left out two more sentences. So we will continue with that. So there are two more sentences given in the Pustaka. Whatever sentences we saw last class, they are from your Pustaka. And I have, I just noticed that two were missed out. So I've added it here. And there was one mistake from the last class that I had made in the PPT. I've corrected the PPT and posted. So there was this Mud Dhatu. So we were seeing the Atmanepadi Dhatus in the last class. Okay, the Patha was completely on Atmanepadi Dhatus. So Mud Dhatu was given as one example. So Modate is the form in Kartari Lakara. It is Muddu Yate Mudyate in Karmani. Okay, so I had wrongly typed it as Modyate or something. So I have corrected it. It is Mudyate in Karmani. Okay, so normally Karmani, you know how to form the Kriya Padam. It is the Dhatu Rupa plus the Yakara, the Moola Dhatu plus Ya plus the Atmanepadi Pratyayas. 1 second. Yes, Veena Bhagini.
Vadami va? Uttaram vadami va?
Oh, Uttaram. I thought you were not able to hear my voice. Okay.
No.
Patni Bhartaram
Prinayate. Patni, the meaning is husband is looked after, something. Prinayate. Takes care like that by the wife.
Oh,
Wife is
yeah.
look,
Wife
husband is
pleases
looked
the
after,
husband. We will keep it simple. Wife pleases the husband. Okay.
pleases the husband. Okay.
Yes. Hmm.
पत्नी प्रथमा विभक्ति तृतीया विभक्ति पत्न्या
Hmm.
भर्ता
Hmm.
प्रीण्यते.
Correct. So patnya, patni, dirgha ikaranta. So we have patnya, bharta. Okay, bhartru shabda,
प्रीण्यते.
rikaranta, bharta prinyate. There was one other mistake from the last class. There was dhenu shabda. Tritiya vibhakti is dhenva. Okay, I think that there was also a mistake done. So I've corrected everything. All the slides are corrected. Just reminding you. So patnya, bharta, prinyate. Yes. So we have one more last sentence. Someone else had raised their hand. Hema Bhagini. Hema Bhagini. न श्रूयते भगिनी. Are you talking? न श्रूयते. Annie Mary महोदय.
नमस्ते.
नमस्ते भगिनी.
श्री संजीव रोडिः
रेड्डी. संजीव रेड्डी.
sorry, संजीव रेडिः श्री इंदिराम सांत्वयते.
सांत्वयते.
What is सांत्वयते? Something with
Santvu is the dhatu, so to comfort iti artha.
to comfort.
Console or comfort.
श्री संजीव रेड्डी हृदये हृदये.
Reddy is ikaranta pullinga.
हरिः हरये हृदये.
Tritiya vibhakti, no? How haraye?
Is it haraye? Yes.
Haraye is chaturthi. Haraye namaha.
Oh, sorry. Sanjeeva Reddina, Shri Indiram, Malaya, Indiraya.
Huh. How many kartas in this sentence? Kartrupadam is Sanjeevi Reddy or Indra? Who is the karta?
Okay, he is the karta. Sanjeeva Reddina, Shri Indira. Santvayate.
Yes. Okay, right. Santyate. Okay. So Sanjeevi Reddy, Kartrupadam. So we have to keep it in Tritiya Vibhakti. So Sanjeevi Reddy na. Indira is the karma padam here for the Kartari prayoga. So we put it in Prathama Vibhakti. Shri Indira, like Mala or Sita. Then Santvayate, Santvayate iti bhavati. Dhanyavadaha Bhagini.
Dhanyavadaha.
So with this, the second patha is over. So the first patha was basically on the Parasmaipadi Dhatu. So we identified all the Parasmaipadi Dhatus. Then we said in Karmani it is the Mula Dhatu, Ya and Te. Okay. The second patha on Karmani lakaras were on Atmanepadi Dhatu. So we had a list of Atmanepadi Dhatus. Even for them it is the same procedure. So it is the Mula Dhatu plus Ya plus Te. The Te means the Atmanepadi Pratyayas. Okay. So this is what is covered in the first two patha along with sentences. We are moving into the third patha. Okay. Fine. So the third patha, it covers an important note is given about the tingantas. Okay. So first we will see some important concept on tinganta and then we will go into the patha. So these are something which you already know. Lakaram-ashritya ting pratyayaha. So you know in a kriya padam which is called as a tinganta, there is a ting pratyaya at the end. So you take the dhatu, you add the ting pratyaya and we come up with the kriya pada. This is the basic equation which we use to arrive at the kriya pada. So these are the ting pratyayas for different lakaras. So, okay, so for different lakaras, the ting pratyayas are different and that is how you end up with different forms. Say in lat, the bhudatu has different forms. If you take the lang lakara, the same bhudatu has different forms. So the difference is basically due to the difference in the ting pratyayas that we add to them. So these are the ting pratyayas which you have already covered in Pathamala 3 level, right? So if you have not yet very thorough, you can either go with the memorization of the forms directly, or if you find that difficult, you may also keep these pratyayas in your mind and you can arrive at the Kriya Padam. However it is easy for you, you can do it. So Titaha Anti, Sithahata, Mivaha Maha for Lat Lakara. So we say Bhavati, Bhavataha, Bhavanti, Bhavasi, Bhavataha, Bhavata, Bhavami, Bhavavaha, Bhavamaha. The ending pratyaya is given here, right? So for Atmanepadi, Te, Ite, Ante, Se, Ite, Dve, I, Vahe, Mahe. So say Labhate, Labhete, Labha, Ite, right? Labhete, Labhante. So all sandhi, all that happens. So in between there are lot of karyas. It is not simply taking the mula dhatu and adding these. Lot of steps happen in between. It could be sandhi or it could be any other adesha, anything as per the Parini Vyakarana. Okay. So as per Vyakarana, anything may happen, any rule might apply for specific cases, and that is why the rupas are different. But the default rupa, okay, the normal, the common rupa has these pratyayas, right? So we have say ithe dve and I vahe mahe, labhase, labhete, labhadve, labhe, labhavahe, labhamahe. Same way I have just listed the pratyayas for lang. So this from your Pathamala 3 pustaka, right? So again lot and vidhiling. So make sure these 4 lakaras are you have the rupas in your mind. Okay, so this is important. These 4 lakaras are very important, and along with this we have also learned the Drit lakara in the level 3. Okay, this is for people who are not through this Pathamala level. Okay, so we have done the other Sabha exams and who are here. So just be aware that we have learned till this in the previous level. Okay, so with this we will continue. Now, Kriya Pada Siddhau Sopanani. So you have different steps when how to arrive at a Kriya Pada. Okay, so you take the Dhatu and first add the lakara. Say you want the Kriya Padam in present tense. Then we say you add the Lat lakara. Now I want a past tense Kriya Pada. Then I add the Lang lakara. Or you say it is an imperative statement. Then imperative usage. Then we have the Lot lakara or vidhiling, whatever. So the first step is to add the lakara to the Dhatu, the Mula Dhatu. And then there could be special rules that happens when Dhatu and lakara are there. Rules are there. Then dhatu and ting pratyaya in the place of lakaras you replace with what are the ting pratyayas we just saw, lakara mashritya ting pratyaya. So these ting pratyayas will take the place of the lakara. Okay, so now these are replaced in the place of lakara, and now there is one more pratyaya which comes and sits in between the dhatu and the ting. In the third step there is one thing called a vikarana pratyaya. So we will be seeing about this pratyaya today. So there is one other extra pratyaya which comes and sits in between the dhatu and the ting pratyaya, and finally the kriya padam is nothing but the dhatu plus the vikarana pratyaya plus the ting pratyaya. When you add these 3 components, okay, so when these 3 components are added together, you arrive at the kriya padam. Okay, so we will not be going into details of this is all shastra, like for each dhatu it could be a specific rule. We are not going to deal with all that. This is the basic knowledge of how from bhu you arrive at bhavati. Okay, so there is some lakara first added, and then you add the ting pratyaya, and now a vikarana pratyaya comes and sits in between, and finally you end up at the lat lakara prathama ekavachanam bhavati iti rupam. Now, so this is the a grammar book part 2 was published by Vyoma, so in the month of February, right? So it covers details. It has a detailed chapter on kriya padam, so people interested can go through this link. You know, the chapters given in the pustaka are given in the link, so you may go through if anybody is interested, or who have already purchased the part 1 pustaka and found it very useful can go through the link, and if you wish to buy you can buy. Okay, then so we continue. Now we will see what is this vikarana pratyaya. So Samskrite prayena dvisahasrani dhatavaha santi ye dashaganeshu vibhaktaha. So there are around 2000 dhatus, 2000 and odd dhatus in Samskrita, and these dhatus, these entire list of dhatus, they are divided or put into some 10 ganas. There are 10 ganas basically. We call them as dhatu gana, and each gana has got a specific set of dhatus. Okay, say probably the first gana might have some 1000 dhatus, the second gana might have some 500 dhatus, the third gana. In this way 1 to 10 there are 10. Imagine there are 10 bags and you fill them up with around the 2000 is divided among these 10 bags. Okay, not equally, but certain ganas have lot of dhatus, certain has very less number of dhatus. Okay, so this way the dhatu ganas are built. Okay, so there are 10 ganas or 10 groups of dhatus. These are the names of the dhatu, the gana. The 10 groups are called so. The first gana is called as bhadihi, second gana is adadihi, the third gana juhotyadihi, fourth gana is called as divadihi, the fifth gana is swadihi, sixth is tudadihi, seventh rudhadihi, eighth stanadihi, the ninth gana is krayadihi, and the last 10th gana is called as Churadi. Okay, so this is the name of the gana. So how they came up with this name is based on the first dhatu in each gana. Say for example, the Bhadi has a Bhu dhatu as the first dhatu. So it is called as Bhu Adi Bhadi. Second one, it is Ad is the first dhatu. Ad, to eat, ati we say, no, Ad dhatu. So Adadi is the second gana. Ad Adi and others, Adu and others, Bhu and others. Same way the third Juhotyadi is Hu dhatu, Hu. Juhoti is a lat lakara, ekavachanam of Hu dhatu, who to perform sacrifice. So Juhotihi, Juhotyadihi, so that and Adi, others. Okay, Juhotyadi. Then Div dhatu is the first dhatu of the fourth gana, so we have Divadihi. Then Su is the dhatu in the fifth gana, so Su plus Adi, Swadihi. Tud is the first dhatu in the sixth gana, so Tud Adi Tudadihi. Then Rudh is the dhatu in the seventh gana, so Rudh Adi Rudhadi. Tan is the dhatu for eighth gana, the first dhatu in eighth gana, so Tanadihi. And Kri dhatu, Krinati we say, no? So Kri dhatu is the first dhatu of the ninth gana, so Kri Adi Krayadihi. And Chur Chorayati, right? Chur dhatu. Chur dhatu is the first gana of the 10th, first dhatu of the 10th gana. So Chur Adi Churadihi. Okay, with the first, in the list of dhatus, we take the first dhatu, and that is how the names of the ganas are. Okay, based on the first dhatu in that gana. Now, Bhinneshu Ganeshu Bhinnaha Vikarana Pratyaha Bhavanti. So all these 10 dhatu ganas, they have something called as a vikarana pratyaya, which is common to all the dhatus in that gana. Say for example, the Bhadi gana. So most probably at a basic level, the dhatus that we come across or we study will be from the 1, 4, 6 and 10. Okay, so normally. So these are the common dhatus that we study at a very basic level, from the first dhatu, fourth one, sixth one and the 10th one. Okay, so I have just mentioned the vikarana pratyayas of those alone. Say if you see here, Vadi has a vikarana pratyaya a. For Divadi, the vikarana pratyaya is ya. For Tudadi, the vikarana pratyayam is a. And Churadi, it is aya. Okay, so these are the vikarana pratyaya, and this vikarana pratyaya is applicable for all the dhatus of that gana. So if inside Badi gana, if there are say 1200 dhatus, all the 1200 dhatus, for them the vikarana pratyaya is a. Inside Divadi, if you say you have 700 dhatus or something, then the ya will apply to all the 700. Same way with Tudadi, Churadi, everywhere. All the ganas has got some vikarana, and it is applicable for those inside the, for all the dhatus inside that particular gana. So we don't have to deeply study about this, what are the vikaranas for all the 10 ganas. It is not necessary. There is just one concept told at the end. For that purpose we are studying all this. So just remember, it is a, ya and aya. So these are the common dhatu. So I have selected these 4. Now, so basically a kriyapadasya avayava, the organs of the kriyapada, what are the basic components of a kriyapada is a moola dhatu, then a vikarana pratyaya, then a ting pratyaya. Okay, so as we saw in the sopana, it is dhatu plus vikarana pratyaya plus ting pratyaya will give you the final form. Okay, so for example, spardh dhatu. So spardh is a dhatu in the Bhadi gana. Okay, it is belonging to the first gana whose vikarana pratyaya is a. Spardh a ti spardhat. Sorry, spardh is atmanepadi dhatu. How many times you review, you don't find the mistakes. So it is te. Sorry, spardhate is the rupa. It is atmanepadi dhatu. It's written wrong. So spardhate iti bhavati. Okay, so spardh mula dhatu, a is the vikarana pratyaya because it belongs to the bwadi gana. Okay, the dhatu we should, at this stage we will not know which dhatu belongs to which gana, we will not be knowing, but I'm just giving you a few examples, we will know why we are studying all this. So spardh, a because it belongs to the bwadi gana, a is the vikarana pratyaya, and te spardhate iti rupam. Deep belongs to the fourth gana, Divadi gana. So Deep and Vikarana Pratyaya ya. For Divadi it is ya and te Deepyate. Okay, so Deepyate iti bhavati. Lik belongs to the sixth gana. Okay, Lik belongs to the sixth gana whose Vikarana is ya. A. Okay, Vikarana is a. So Lik a thi likhati. Same way, if we take the Pathati. Pat belongs to the first gana. Pat ati pathati. Lik ati likhati. This is how you come up or arrive at the final kriya padam. Chint belongs to the tenth gana, the Churadi gana. So aya is the vikarana pratyaya and ti. So chintayati. Chintayati. Okay, chint ayati chintayati. So now we understand. So there is one other pratyaya which is called as a vikarana pratyaya and it is completely based on the gana. Okay, if it is first gana, it is a. If it is second gana, it is this. If it is third gana, it is this. So this is based on the gana. This vikarana pratyaya is something which is based on the gana. So vikarana pratyasya yojanam dhatoho ting pratyasya cha madhye bhavati. So where do you add the vikarana pratyaya? It is in between the dhatu and the ting pratyaya. Okay, so dhatu ting is there. In between that we are adding the vikarana pratyaya. Kriya padanam rupeshu bhinnatam janayati. Okay, so if it belongs to a particular type, it will take different rupas. Okay, why? Because of that vikarana pratyaya. We will see. So if you see here, sorry. So we have the 10 ganas. So we know we have, see, a is the vikarana pratyaya. The vikarana pratyaya is in the small box. So akara is the vikarana pratyaya. So I have listed few dhatus, few common dhatus that we have already studied. So in the bhwadi there are bhu dhatu, yed dhatu, vand dhatu, khad dhatu, pat, path. All these dhatus are there in the bhwadi. So how will the form in lat lakara prathama purusha ekavachanam? So yed a and this is yed is atmanepadi. Okay, so te yedhate, yed a te yedhate, bhu a te, bhu becomes bhav by some other vyakarana niyama. So bhu will be bhav ati bhavati. Okay, so yed a te yedhate, vand a te vandate, khad a ti khadati, pat a ti pathati, pat ati patati iti bhavati. Okay, so there is before the thing we add this akara which is the vikarana pratyaya of bhwadi gana. So same way adadi, in adadi the vikarana gets deleted. Okay, so there is no vikarana for this dhatu. Finally there are by niyamas it is getting added, it is getting deleted and all that. So we will not worry about that. But these are few dhatus there. So adadati. So we say atti is a rupa. So these are little bit different rupas. You know, if you compare the bhwadi and the adadi, you will know the rupas are quite different. So han dhatu, you know, hanti hataha, right? Hanti is the rupa in ekavachana. I is a dhatu in adadi. Adhite, it is always used to the adi. The I dhatu always used to the adi upasarga. So adhite is a rupa lat lakara, and ya dhatu you would have yati, right? We would have heard that ya to go, right? Yati iti bhavati. So the forms are different depending on the gana to which it belongs. So here if you see the juhotyadi, the hu is the dhatu, juhoti iti bhavati. Bhi dhatu vibheti, da dhatu dadati. This particular group, if you see observe the forms of the juhotyadi, you will hear the doubling. Dadati, vibheti, juhoti, right? So there is not just one, but the doubling happens for all the dhatus inside this gana. So the forms are clearly they will all have the doubling of the letters. Then we have divadi yakara. So nrityati, 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 dancing, he dances, nrityati, trasyati, he fears, Trasyati, tasyati. Nashyati, nashyati, nashyati. So kind of there is a similarity in the rupa depending on their gana to which they belong. It is because of the addition of this vikarana pratyaya. Okay, so everywhere we add the ti, right? In Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam, everywhere we add ti, but depending on this vikarana pratyaya, you can see it is nrityati here, bhavati there, right? Juhoti in the third gana, right? There is a difference observed in the forms. For that, this vikarana pratyaya also contributes to that bhinnata. Okay, so because it is different, the forms are also different. Swadi, if you see the swadi, apnoti, shaknoti, chinoti, there is always this na heard there, right? For all the dhatus of swadi, you will hear that nakara, apnoti, shaknoti, chinoti. Then tudadi, it is a. So it is likhati, likhati, as simple as that. Lajyati, lajjati, milati, milati, iti bhavati. Rudadi, so in rudadi, runadhi, right? Binati, chinati, this is how you will again hear the nakara in between, okay? So between these bid and chid, you will have a nakara heard. So this is kind of similar forms you will see. Rudadi. Tanadi. So tanadi, here you will say tanute. Okay, you will hear the ukara. So karoti, u becomes o there. So again, lot of niyamas are there. It's not easy to just add the vikarana pratyaya and arrive at the form. But where there are no specific adeshas, it is easy. It is just that kriya, dhatu, vikarana and thing. If you like say nrityati, nrityati, nrityati. Say likhati, likhati, likhati. But there are another, say tanute, tanoti if you take. There is sukara becoming okara. There are other karyas that happen when you add the vikarana pratyaya. But just to know that similar karyas will happen for dhatus within the same gana. Okay. So we have the krayadi, kri. So we have krinati, prinati, janati. Again, you will hear the na, the nakara. Okay, in all these forms of krayadi gana. Churadi, if you see aya, chorayati, that aya will be heard. Chintayati, kathayati, pidayati. Okay, the aya is constantly heard in all these rupa, kriyapada rupa. Okay, so kriyapadam will always have the dhatu, vikarana pratyaya and the ting pratyaya. Okay, so because the vikarana pratyaya is based on the gana to which they belong. Okay, if it is in the fourth gana, it should be ya. If it is in the 10th gana, it is aya. Okay, so something like this we arrive at the kriyapadam. That much we should understand. Now we will see, we will take one example, say likha-dhatu. We will see the different forms in the lakaras we have already studied. We are not touching all the 10 lakaras, but we will only be going through the lakaras we have learned. So we will see the prathama purusha ekavachanam. So latlakare, we all know it is likhati, likhati. Lang lakare alikhat. Okay, you know there is akara getting added and then it, likh, a and it. So in all these we will hear that vikarana. Okay, so lot lakara likhatu iti bhavati. Likh, a, tu, likhatu. Vidhiling lakare likh, a and it. Okay, so likhet iti bhavati. Nrit lakare lekishyati iti rupam. So we are familiar with the rupas. That is more important. What is important? We should know the form, the final kriya pada. Whether we know what is the vikarana pratyaya of this gana or whether the dhatu belongs to gana 1, 2, 3, that is not important. We should know at least the lakara rupas correctly. Okay. So these are the 5 lakaras that will be concentrating. So we know these rupas of likha dhatu. Now if you observe each and every lakara, lik a ti, you know this. So a lik a it. Again, I've just split or showing the components of alikat. I'm trying to show the components of the kriya padam. Lik a tu, likhatu, vidhiling liket, lik a it. Okay, so the last one is the ting pratyaya, which is highlighted, akara which is highlighted is called the vikarana pratyaya. Okay, so in the rit lakara you have lik, sya and ti. Okay, there is one difference here. So if you see the first 4 rupas, atra sarvatra a iti vikarana pratyasya yojanam bhavati. So in lat lakara, lang lakara, lot and vidhiling. The first four lakaras, we see that to arrive at the kriya padam, we are adding the vikarana pratyaya. Okay, because lik belongs to the sixth gana, the vikarana pratyaya is a for the sixth gana. We are adding that to arrive at the kriya padam. That is how you come up with the rupas likati, alikat, likhatu, liket, all that. Now, in lekishyati, if you see, we are not adding the vikarana pratyaya. Okay, so atra vikarana pratyasya yojanam na bhavet. Okay, sarvatra is there, it is wrong. So atra a iti vikarana pratyasya yojanam na bhavati. In lekishyati, if you split and see what are the components, you have lik, you are adding syati. You have learned the pratyaya for rit lakara, syati, syataha, syanti, you would have learned. So sya is something which we add to arrive at the rit lakara forms. Okay, so this means that for certain lakaras, the addition of vikarana pratyaya happens, and in certain lakaras, the addition of vikarana pratyaya does not happen. So that we should understand. Okay, so in lat, lang, lot and vidhiling, in these four lakaras, we are adding the vikarana pratyaya. Okay, the gana vikarana pratyaya we call it is based on the gana, so we can call it as gana vikarana pratyaya. That is added to arrive at the kriya padam. Whereas in rit lakara, or basically the other lakaras, whatever is left out, you imagine all the lakaras. I am not mentioning the rupas because we have not learned those forms yet, so I am not mentioned. Apart from these four, lat, lang, lot and vidhiling, all the five remaining or six remaining lakaras, we are not adding the gana vikarana pratyaya. Okay, so that much should be understood. Now, येषु लकारेषु विकरणप्रत्ययस्य योजनं भवति तेषां सार्वधातुकलकाराः इति व्यवहारः. So at a very basic level, okay, at a primary level, we say that wherever we add this vikarana pratyaya, if you see the last time we have added a in likhati, likathu, likhet and alikat. In these four lakaras we have added a. So these four lakaras are called as Sarvadhatuka lakaraha. We call them as Sarvadhatuka lakara. This is a technical term in Vyakarana. Sarvadhatuka lakara. Udaharan, what are the Sarvadhatuka lakaras? Lat, lot, lang and vidhiling. Why are we calling these four as Sarvadhatuka? Because to arrive at the kriya padam in these lakaras, we have to add the vikarana pratyaya. Okay, the gana vikarana pratyaya, which is based out of the gana. What is the vikarana pratyaya? That which comes and sits in between the dhatu and the ting pratyaya, and it is completely dependent on the gana. For each gana there is a standard vikarana pratyaya. Only that will apply for dhatus inside that gana. Okay, so for all the dhatus, for these four lakaras, lat, lot, lang and vidhiling, we have to add the vikarana pratyaya, and these four lakaras are, that is why called as Sarvadhatuka lakaraha. Now, what about the rest of the lakaras? They are called as Ardhadhatuka lakara. Yeshu lakareshu vikarana pratyasya yojanam naiva bhavati. We don't add the vikarana pratyaya to arrive at the kriya padam. In that place, some other pratyaya comes and sits. We are not worried. So in syati, sya comes and sit there. Why sya? We will not worry now. Okay. So for lit lakara, we are not adding a. In lekishyati, there is no a. The vikarana is not seen. It is not added. Instead, there is some vishishta pratyaya. Some specific pratyaya is there. So in all the lakaras, apart from the Sarvadhatuka, there will be some specific pratyaya about which we are not worried. But we want to say that we are not adding the gana vikarana pratyaya. Okay, so where the gana vikarana pratyaya's yojana doesn't happen, they are called as the Ardhadhatuka lakara. And we examples, all the remaining apart from lat, lot, lang, vidhiling, what are lakaras are there, we can call them as Ardhadhatuka, because in none of these we are going to add the vikarana pratyaya to arrive at the kriya padam. Okay, so now we first learnt what is lakara, and then we know that lakara is replaced by the ting pratyayas. We know what are the different ting pratyayas for each lakara. If it is lat, it is different, ti, taha and ti. If it is lot, it is different, tu, tat, right? So we have learnt the ting pratyayas. We also learned something called a vikarana pratyaya, which comes and sits in between the dhatu and the ting. So finally the components of kriya padam will be dhatu plus some vikarana pratyaya plus the ting pratyayas. For Sarvadhatuka lakaras, it is dhatu plus vikarana pratyaya plus ting pratyaya. So lat, lot, lung and vidhiling comes under this list Sarvadhatuka. If it is an Ardhadhatuka lakara, it is dhatu plus some vishishta pratyaya. There is still some addition of some vishishta pratyaya, some specific pratyaya is there, plus the ting pratyaya, but it is not that gana vikarana. Okay, it is not the gana vikarana pratyaya we are adding, it is some other pratyaya and it is a ting plus the ting. Okay, so this is the classification as of few sets of lakara, four of the lakaras as Sarvadhatuka and the rest of the 6 as Ardhadhatuka lakara. Right? So now why we are studying this? So we have to know that. So Sarvadhatuka lakareshu, okay, in the Sarvadhatuka lakara, kartari prayoge vikarana pratyase yojanam bhavati lakareshu. So whatever alikat, likhatu, whatever forms we saw, they are all kartari. You all know that, right? They are expressing the karta. So all those 4 Sarvadhatuka forms that we saw, likhati, alikhat, likhatu and likhet. These 4 forms Sarvadhatuka lakara rupa. In these it is all kartari prayoga, right? Kartari prayoge vikarana pratyase yojanam bhavati. Whereas what happens in a karmani? So now to study about karmani prayoga, that is the why all this were taught, is the point comes now. In a karmani prayoga, don't worry about the vikarana at all. It is dhatuhu, ya and atmanepadi pratyaya. That is all. You learned this already, right? So we have learned this already. We were not aware that in kartari there is one vikarana pratyaya which comes and sits in the kriya padam. That we didn't know. Now we have learned that also. So in kartari there is vikarana pratyaya's addition for the Sarvadhatuka lakara, right? Lat, lot, vidhiling and lung. Whereas in karmani, if you want karmani for likhati, alikhat, likhatu and likhet, for these 4 Sarvadhatuka forms, if you want the karmani prayoga rupa, kriya pada rupa, just take the dhatu, add yakara, add the atmanepadi pratyaya. Don't worry about what is gana vikarana pratyaya, all that. We are not worried. Simply dhatu, ya and atmanepadi pratyaya. This also we know. We have been learning this in the last 2 lessons. Udaharanam, so in kartari, likh, ati, the a comes here, vikarana pratyaya in kartari form. Whereas if it is karmani, likhyate, you know it is likhyate, likhyate, tavadeva. There is no vikarana pratyaya's addition in the karmani, okay, for the Sarvadhatuka lakaras. Nrityati, if you see, there is a ya, okay, nrit, it belongs to divadi gana. Nrityati, nrit dhatu belongs to the 4th gana whose vikarana is ya. So nrityati, nrityati iti bhavati. Karmani prayoge nrityate, nrityate. We are not worried about the vikarana pratyaya. Okay, so this is for the Sarvadhatuka lakara. What about the Ardhadhatuka lakara, the others? So kartari, karmani, ubhayatra dhatu ganamashritya vikarana pratyase yojanam na bhavati. Whether it is a kartari usage or a karmani usage. So ideally we have not learnt the karmani usage of the other lakaras, right? Only the first 4, dhatuhu plus ya plus te is what we learnt. Now you should understand this dhatuhu plus ya plus te is for what? It is only for the Sarvadhatuka lakara. Meaning for the lat, lot, lung, vidhiling. Okay, so now go back and understand this. So we learnt it how to make the karmani karmani prayoga kriya padam. We learnt it is dhatu plus ya plus atmanepadi pratyaya. They have been learning this for the 3 classes, last 2 classes at least. Dhatuhu plus ya plus atmanepada pratyaya, right? This is for which all lakaras? Only for the Sarvadhatuka lakara. What are they? Lat, lot, lung and vidhiling. For these 4 lakaras, it is dhatuhu, ya and te. Okay, only for the Sarvadhatuka lakara. This is the point made here. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. Only for the Sarvadhatuka lakaras, it is dhatuhu plus ya plus the atmanepadi pratyayas. What about the Ardhadhatuka? If you want a karmani, say saha devalayam gamishyati. When I say, if you want that gamishyati is karmani, how should you arrive? You should not put yakara there, like how you do for these 4. Okay, so this yakara addition happens only for the Sarvadhatuka lakara. What about the Ardhadhatuka lakara? Both kartari, karmani, ubhayatra, dhatu ganamashritya vikarana pratyase yojanam na bhavati. Okay, this is one headache is gone. There is no extra addition of the vikarana pratyaya. Of course, there is some vishishta pratyaya in gamishyati. You have the sya. That is there. Some other pratyaya instead of the gana vikarana, some other pratyaya will come and sit there. Okay, so but you are not adding the gana vikarana both in kartari and karmani. Now the rupas are going to be little bit same. Okay, so how is it? The only difference between kartari and karmani will be karmani prayoge kevalam atmanepada pratyaya. So it is very easy for ardhadhatuka lakara. When I say gamishyati, it will be gamishyate. That is all. The ti and te is the only difference. Here it is gamudhatu parasmaipadi. So we have ti. In karmani prayoga, we know it should always be atmanepada pratyayas. You simply say gamishyate. There is no addition of yakara. All that is not needed, right? Simply the rupa sadrishya, for especially we are not worried about the lung and all that complex lakaras, we will leave out. But normally for ardhadhatuka lakaras, in both cases you are not hearing the vikarana pratyaya, both in kartari karmani. Only difference, you are not adding the yakara. Okay, like you do in the Sarvadhatuka lakaras, we are not adding the dhatu plus ya plus atmane. That ya addition is not done for the Ardhadhatuka lakaras. Okay, we are not adding the ya. What is the difference in rupa? It is simply the ti and te difference. Okay, so we will hear the atmanepadi pratyayas. If it is a atmanepadi, already if it is an atmanepadi dhatu in kartari, it is as good as using the same form in karmani also. Okay, so we will see udaharanam. We are in this patha, only the rit lakara is covered. Okay, so they have given 4 examples from the rit lakara. So we will also see only the bhavishyat kala. Okay, we will not be worried about the lit, lung. Okay, those lakaras we are not considering. Apart from the 4 sarvadhatuka, lat, lot, lung and vidhiling, we are going to learn only the rit lakara here. Okay, in the karmani lessons, we are concentrating only on the rit. So we have lekishyati, lik, sya and ti. We have the sya, some vishishta pratyaya and kartari. In karmani also it is the same. Okay, whatever is the existing pattern, the same pattern, only difference is you have the ending atmanepadi suffix. Okay, instead of parasmaipadi suffix, you will have an atmanepadi pratyaya getting added at the end. So lekishyate, tavadeva. Lapsyate, if you take a atmanepadi dhatu, lapsyate in kartari, labhusyate, lapsyate in karmani also, labhusyate. Okay, so there it was vikarana in kartari and yakara in karmani. For the sarvadhatuka lakara, we had to add dhatu, ya and te, right? Ardhadhatuka lakara, we are not doing like that. It is simply whatever is the existing pattern of that dhatu, whatever vishishta pratyaya is already there, keep that only. The ending parasmaipadi suffix is there, then you will have to change it to atmanepadi. Tavadeva, only that much change. So we will see rit lakare, especially only rit we are considering. Okay, so we are taking the rit lakara, the bhavishyat kala rit lakara. Rit lakare sya pratyaya sarvebhya dhatubhya bhavati. Okay, so all this will have the sya. In some dhatus you also hear the ishya. So for example, patishyati. Okay, instead of sya, you hear the ishya, bhavishyati, patishyati, lekishyati, right? The sya is there, which turns into ishya for some cases. Okay, so we will hear that ishya sound. Kartari yadurupam tasyaiva sadrishyam karmani drishyate. So the rupa for this lakara, the kriyapada rupa. What is the rupa in kartari? Gamishyati, gamishyati, patishyati, lekishyati. Tasyaiva sadrishyam karmani drishyate. But only difference is atmanepadi. So instead of lekishyati, lekishyate. Instead of gamishyati, gamishyate. Right? Only difference is the suffix at the end. Otherwise, the rupa is similar to that of the kartari. So gam ishya is there. Instead of sya, you hear the ishya here. Gamishyati. Krudh, in these are the kartari forms. Krudh syati krotsyati iti bhavati. Krudh dhatoho bhavishyat kale krotsyati iti rupam. Pat dhatoho patishyati iti rupam. Nam dhatu namsyati, right? Nam dhatu namsyati iti rupam. Now if you want the karmani for all this, only change is the ti becomes te. Only that. The otherwise the the remaining part of the kriya pada will be the same. Karmani it is gamishyate, instead of gamishyati gamishyate, krotsyati krotsyate, patishyati patishyate, namsyati namsyate. Okay, so easier rather than the Sarvadhatukas where we have to add the ya and all that. This is more easier, simply changing the thing suffix at the end into Atmanepadi. Karmani should always have the Atmanepadi pratyayas heard at the end. It will never hear, you will never hear a Parasmaipadi ending. Okay, so this is about Ritlakara. Then one small thing about the last gana, the Churadi gana, they have the Churadi ganasya dhatubhyaha sarvada vishishtah pratyayah, some one additional pratyaya is added for the Churadis. Okay, so Churadis basically this vishishta pratyaya sits there and changes the dhatu. So when you say churu, you add this special pratyaya and you change the dhatu only, it becomes chori. And now from chori we will have to add the special dhatu and the thing pratyaya like for the other cases. Okay, so this is one small difference between other ganas and the Churadi gana. So we will have churu, then there is one e which is a special one, and then ishya and ti. Okay, so chora ishyati. So don't worry about what pratyayas are added or how you arrive at this. This is all not at all needed. All you have to know is the concept, what is done in kartari and karmani, how we arrive at. For Sarvadhatuka lakara in karmani ya and atmanepadi. For Ardhadhatuka lakaras you are retaining the whatever pratyaya is added for that lakara, specific lakara, you retain that form, only the ending pratyaya is changed from Parasmaipadi to Atmanepadi. That is the only change. So this is one small, because one example from Churadi was given in the Pustaka, so I thought of adding this in the slide. So for example, kath. So you have kath, that e will be added. So the dhatu itself becomes kati. Okay, then kati you will have ishya and ti, kathaishyati. Okay, kathaishyati. Then pid, it will be pida ishyati. Gan, it will be ganayishyati. Again for these the karmani simple chora ishyate. That's all. Only difference ti becomes te. Chora ishyate, kathaishyate, pida ishyate and gana ishyate. Only difference changing of the Atmanepadi suffix. Okay, the Parasmaipadi suffix is here. They are changed into Atmanepadi. Suppose if there is Atmanepadi suffix only in Kartari, it is the same form in Karmani. How do you know the difference? From the Vakya. From the Vakya you should understand. If the Kartripadam is in, understand it is a Kartari prayoga. If the Kartripadam is in Tritiya Vibhakti, then you should understand it is a Karmani prayoga. So from the Kriya Padam, now it is clear, you cannot make out. For Sarvadhatuka lakara, yes, you can make out. When it is Pathati, you know it is Kartari. When it is Patyate, you know it is Karmani. In the case of Chora Ishyati, right, what will happen? Both the forms are same. I can also say Chora Ishyate in Kartari because it's Ubhayapadi Dhatu. I can use Atmanepadi suffix as well. In that cases, we have to see how is the Kartripadam in the sentence. So Kartripadam should be in Tritiya if it is a Karmani, and it will be in Prathama Vibhakti if it is a Kartari. Okay, so this is a small note. These were covered in 10 lines or less than that in your Pustaka. Okay, so this comes in your 5th lesson. This small note comes there. So with that, this topic is over. So the next topic in the same lesson. Oh, Saramsh is there. We will see the Saramsh. So keshanchana lakareshu ganamashritya vikarana pratyasya yojanam bhavati. Okay, so if the vikarana pratyaya happens in the kartari prayoga, okay, for some lakara, karmani kevalam madhya yakaraha atmanepada pratyayaha. For those lakaras which are the sarvadhatukas, okay, in sarvadhatuka you will hear the gana vikarana pratyaya in kartari and yakara and atmanepadi suffix in karmani. Example, lat, lot, lang, vidhiling. You have to remember this for these four, ya and te, dhatu, ya, te. Okay. There are other lakaras, anyeshu lakareshu ganamashritya vikarana pratyasya yojanam na bhavati. For the other lakaras apart from these four, we are not adding any gana vikarana pratyaya. Kartari prayoge kriyapadam parasmaipadi va atmanepadi va bhavitum arhati. Whatever, it can be a parasmaipadi or it can be atmanepadi in kartari. Karmani, it should always be Atmanepada suffix. Okay, so you have to change that one part in Karmani prayoga. Okay, so this is the topic, one part of lesson 5. There are other Dirgha Vakyas given. So when, okay, so with this that topic is over. So we are going into the next topic. So if there are any questions related to this topic, we can take it up now. Yes, you have lut also to be added. Yes, you have all the, except lat, lot, lung and vidhiling, all the other 6 lakaras are called, they are called as Ardhadhatuka lakara. Video recording is available. So you have all these videos are, see the in our website sanskritfromhome.org. Okay, so if you take the course Pathamala 4, you should have registered for that course. You can take it anytime. Okay, so you can say, if you register, take that course, there will be a button say take that course. If you take the course, you will be able to access all the videos, audio separately, video separately, and also the PDF. Okay, you can't download the PDF, but the class PDFs are also uploaded in our portal, and the abhyasas that are posted for that particular class will also be under that class. So each class will be a section. Under each class you will have all the PPTs, the abhyasa, the video of the class, and also the audio. If you want to hear only the audio, everything is available there. So people who are not able to access them, let us know on WhatsApp group. Okay, so you should be able to access them. Archana Joshi Bhagini, you have a question?
Bhagini, if for the first gun and the sixth gun, the vikarana is same.
Same,
Then
yes. Akara.
there
Yes.
akara is only. Then what is the difference? Like why there are some other why these dhatus are kept in 2 ganas? If the
Yeah,
gana
there are a lot
vikarana.
of reasons for which they are divided like that. This is
Okay, there are other.
many reasons. Yes. So a lot of niyamas, vyakarana niyamas. So inside a dhatu gana only you will have some antar gana. For that antar gana you will have some specific rules. So why you are listing them out is like you will have specific adeshas for specific things. Okay. So for that reason they are put under separate bags, so that you can apply one kind of rules for one set, one kind of rules for the other set. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Bhagini.
When you read Shastra, when you start studying Shastra, you will understand a lot about this.
Okay.
Astu.
Astu.
Okay, Astu. So we have, Vachana shall be suitably changed. Yes, everywhere Vachana conversion should happen. From Kartari to Karmani, now the karma padam, karta, which is a kriya pada follows which pada, that you must remember. In a kartari prayoga, kriya pada follows the kartru padam. In a karmani prayoga, kriya padam follows the karma pada. So according to the vachana of the karma pada, it should change. When we study only the ekavachana rupa, patyate, likhyate. It is easy to remember the rupa. We are studying only the prathama purusha ekavachanam. But when you use them in a sentence, it should be according to your kartrupadam in kartari and according to your karma padam in karmani prayoga. That is there. Yes. Sriranjani Mahodaya, you have a question? I don't know why you have raised your hand. Prashna Hasiva.
Hari Om.
Hari Om
Bhagini, दशमगणस्य उदाहरणे चोर्योग नियोग इष्यति चोरिष्यते भवति किल चोर कथं
No, wait, there are lot of other karyas. Don't directly add these 3. In certain cases it is likhati, it is very easy to come up with likhati. Actually there are lot of karyas that happen. When akara goes and sits there, Panini would have given a rule. Okay, when this vikarana pratyaya sits, do this rule. Okay, so some ikara antas will turn into their guna adesha will happen. For some vriddhi adesha will happen. There are lot of adeshas that happen in between. Finally we say that this is choreshyati. Why I am splitting it is, you have to know it is, there is Churadi there. There is one special pratyaya there is one ishya there, and there is ti there. These are the 4 components in chore ishyati. It is not simply chur ishyati. For Churadis alone, there is one more extra pratyaya sitting there. For that purpose, because they have mentioned about Churadis in the Pustaka. Okay, so we can't simply add and we arrive at the Kriya Padam. Okay, something plus something plus something is this. We don't do just Sandhi. We do a lot of other Anga. We call it as Anga Karya. Okay, so we call it as Anga Karya. So these are all like an Anga. So if you take T, for that we have an Anga, which is Churu, E, Ishya. If you take Ishya specifically, you have Churu and E as its Anga. So each level, there are multiple levels, karyas will happen at every level. Finally, the word is Chora Ishyati. Okay, so we can't do a single step is not allowed. Single step sandhi or adding this plus this plus this 1 plus 1 plus 1, 2 will not work. Okay, so for 1 plus 1, we will have an adesha. Panini would have given some niyama. Do this karya first. Change this ukara to okara. Change this ikara to ikara. Something is there. It is specific for certain dhatus. It is specific for a list of dhatus. Or it is specific for a gana. Lot of things are there. Okay, so no simple addition anywhere. For your understanding purpose, likati, we say likati. It's likati. It's so easy to remember, no? Okay, in likati we have likati, which means the student will remember, okay, there is a mula dhatu, there is a vikarana pratyaya, there is a ting pratyaya. That is all you should remember. It has what are the components of my kriya padam. We can't see what are the rules that applies and how you arrive at is a big story that we will learn in Shastra Pathanam. Okay, not here.
Okay.
Yes,
Astu Bhagini. Dhanyavada.
So I think Dirgha Vakya we will not take it up because there are 4 different kinds of Dirgha Vakya we'll be seeing. Okay, so we will take it up in the next class. Okay, so today I will try to upload one exercise before evening, so you can work out for the Sarvadhatuka lakara. Try to change the kartari to karmani. Okay, so it's not given in the pustaka, but just for your practice so that you remember where to apply this here, where not. Okay, so we will do one abhyasa I will upload before evening. You can work out during your weekend, and next Wednesday we will see about the Dirgha Vakyas. Dhanyavadaha. We will stop here. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchid dukkha bhag bhavet. If you have questions, you can raise your hand, otherwise you can leave. Okay.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavadaha. We'll stop here.